We're here with Martin Solin, creative director at Coldwood Interactive. Martin, thank you for coming by. You're kind of like a fan favorite on EA's stage. You came out and you unveiled the first Unravel, and everyone's like, it's a charming human being who's brought a yarn friend with him, and you did that again. You came out, and Yarny is back, Unravel 2, and he's brought a friend this time too. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about what's going on with Unravel 2.
That's pretty much the thing. It's about the friendship. It's about that new bond. It starts a bit dark. You know?
Yeah, I love that the initial reveal in the trailer was like it was a horrifying shipwreck.
Yes, but that's sort of like the message of the whole game, that no matter like how badly we crash, we can always like bounce back and come back stronger if we just get a little help. So that's what happens when you wash ashore after the big storm. You meet someone else who's just as messed up as you, and you form a new bond with them. And then like you go off on an adventure together.
Yeah, and we're actually looking at live gameplay right now. Unravel 2 is out right now, is that correct?
It is out right now.
I love that there's always that big fun reveal. So is there like a context for why they're on this island, or is it sort of vague and fairy tale like?
It's a little bit mysterious, I guess, but I think I like to not tell too much about what the story is about, because I like to leave things open for players to just like make their own minds up.
That's fair.
But I think actually like this time around, most of the story is really centered around just like the interaction between you two. Like if you're playing with a friend, like that's going to be really beautiful. We try to create like many like great moments for you to share with someone.
Yeah, I mean the first game was very much about sort of like family memories, and it had this very somber story. Like it was very emotionally touching, and I was curious, how are you going to make a sequel that doesn't feel like a kind of almost a cash-in, or like how do you not cheapen that experience?
I guess that also plays into why it starts with this big storm thing, because we kind of wanted to cut ties with the past a little bit.
I like that.
Like we really wanted to like let players know right from the start that we're going to try to make something new, something that's like very different and very much like its own thing. And also with the first game, it was like a very long, slow build-up towards this pretty like almost like grim twist at the end, but the ending was very sweet. But we figured that what we do this time around is just like, let's put the big twist at the start instead, and then have the whole game be about just building you up from there.
I mean, I really like that, because the first game it's about Yarny's connections and Yarny's memories, and this is about you making new memories with a friend of yours. Obviously, people hear co-op, maybe they don't want to play with somebody else. This is also a game that can be played single player, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. It's being played in single player now. So basically, the way it works is that when you're just like traversing the world, running around, jumping and stuff, then you sort of pick the other Yarny up and carry them. And then when you get to more of a puzzle area, then you can split apart into the two separate Yarnies. We actually kept that carrying mechanic for when you're playing in co-op, because we really wanted to make sure that like even though you're like at different skill levels, maybe you can still play it together. So if somebody's like super struggling with a section, you can like literally just carry them through it.
That sounds like a great time for parents and kids to play together, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's something that we noticed with the first game that was like, it was really charming to see actually, because even though it was like strictly a single-player game, we've still heard so many stories from people who played it together anyway. So like it was an experience that people loved sharing. So we felt like it was like a very natural step to just like let them actually play together too.
That seems like a good fit. Now, we've got, obviously, Yarny, I feel like at this point is kind of almost iconic as a little red character, and the other one is blue, but I saw that big colorful box of yarn at the beginning. Are they sort of, is there a customizable Yarny now?
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
I mean, since we knew that there were going to be many of them this time around, we felt that it was important to allow players to make one that felt like more like their own. And also, it's a little bit of an accessibility thing as well, because one thing that was a bit embarrassing about the first game was that we had a red character on a green background.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like, no, not great. So this time around, you can pick any color you like, and then everything, like all the little important items in the game will also change color, so you can pick something that you can actually see.
Now, speaking of what's going on in the background, in the sort of that initial reveal, there was a terrifying bird chasing after Yarny. And there's so much of an emphasis on sort of like childhood memories and things. Did you get chased by a bird as a child? Is that where that came from?
Actually, no. That was like a reporter on the local news station.
Really?
We have this, like, when we made the levels, we made big like post-its, like big maps of post-its where we put all the different gameplay types and everything. And we also had like a mood chart, like what mood we should have in the different sections. And the mood for the section with the bird is named after the reporter who got chased by this big grouse.
Okay.
We wanted it to feel like it should be like terrifying but hilarious.
Yeah.
So it's just like you're laughing but you're running.
I love that. It's very effective. You mentioned sort of in your first presentation that this is more. I don't know if you said more colorful or more fun almost.
More playful.
More playful. That's the word. Yeah.
I think that was. Sort of, the first game was very much about old things, old wounds, old age, old love, and old bonds. And when we started making this game, we sort of felt that we wanted to make something that felt very new, that was about like maybe being young instead, and being like a bit more daring, a bit more reckless, a bit more playful. So that's why your little Yarny now is like much more capable. You can jump higher, you can swing more, and you can like fall without breaking your legs, and it's sort of like everything is just like there to inspire you to just play and have fun and mess around. And also, since you're playing it in co-op, we kind of wanted, I guess what we wanted was to just make people smile and cheer rather than cry.
I like that, yeah, because your people are making kind of new memories together.
Yeah.
Now, the co-op question is a big one. Is there online co-op or is it just local?
It's just local co-op.
Okay, are there any plans to...
No, we kind of just wanted... It's sort of... we used to joke about the first game, saying that it was kind of like a Trojan horse to get people to call their moms.
Oh.
But this time around, we said like we want this game to be kind of like the Trojan horse to get people to just call a friend and invite them over and just sit down and play together. So that's what I'm hoping people will do.
I love that. Now you mentioned sort of your playtesting and putting up post-its on the board and really and planning it out. Is there a lot of sort of obviously you've got a physical world here. Do you recreate the levels with physical items first, or is it?
No, the approach is a little bit, it depends on who's making what. What we tried to do this time around was to make sure that the whole studio was involved in more aspects of the creation, because we're like 17 people at the studio, and we feel like such a small team, everybody should really be allowed to have like a say in everything. So we tried to do the thing that people tell you that you never should. So we did all the design in a committee.
Oh, wow.
And basically collaborated on everything and try to make sure that everyone was also like given responsibility to actually build and create things and make puzzles. And so what we did, like some people liked sketching things out on paper, and other people like just building it directly in the tools. So we've made like really nice tools so we can sort of build the levels and play them as we go. So it's really like instant feedback on what's working and what's not working.
I think it's really fascinating with these games how you've got this just practically photorealistic background. This is running in the Frostbite engine?
No, this is our own engine, more or less. Like we based it off Sony's Fire engine.
Gotcha.
It's sort of, it's just like a little tiny sliver that's there.
I love that it's like staggeringly realistic, and then you've got this rudimentary little colorful characters in the foreground still. You know, you see these. You could be making this grand hyper realistic thing, but instead it's still very much about these childlike little little avatars.
Yeah, and I think the key part of our art direction has always been about trying to highlight the beauty in the ordinary, because we have the luxury of being like a really small character that's allowed to that allows us to just like get really close to things. So the thought was essentially that everything can be really beautiful if you just look at it closely enough. So we wanted to just like not go super like fantastical with the settings, but actually just like keep everything in the real world, keep it realistic, keep it kind of, well, ordinary almost, but just highlight how beautiful things really are when you look at them closely enough.
Wonderful.
And we tried to push that even further in this game as well. Just tried to do bigger variety of environments. So it's not just about these like lush forests and like nature settings, but actually we tried some cityscapes and things like that to see if like can we take something like that and make that look magical and unravel-y as well.
Huh. Now it looks like your player's actually stuck here. What's going on right now?
Yeah.
How do we need a little walkthrough here?
Yeah, what you can do actually in this game, which is kind of nice, is that if you do ever get stuck, you can get optional hints. because we noticed that when you're making like a linear puzzle game, it's kind of like not great to get stuck there. So we have like two help systems you can get. You can turn on slow motion, and you can get like 3 layers of puzzle hints.
Okay.
So one of the puzzle hints is going to be like very vague, and the next one is going to be a little bit more detailed, and then the third one is essentially just like telling you exactly what to do, because we just like didn't want people to get too stuck.
Okay, and is the slow motion for sort of fast-paced platforming?
Yeah, exactly. So like if you're struggling a little bit with a platform section, you can just like slow everything down a little bit and make it just a little bit more manageable.
That seems really good. Obviously, this is a great game to play with kids, so it's make it easier for them too.
Yeah, for sure.
Now this is out right now for PC and Xbox One and PS4.
Yes.
Are there any plans to come to Switch?
You know, like looking at the characters, like there's a red and blue one, and it's all co-op. Like I would love to do it, but the problem is like we're a really tiny team, and it's a lot of work to do it. So the answer is, I hope so, but not right now.
Okay. Well, Unravel 2, it's out right now. You can get your hands on it if you want. It looks adorable. Thank you so much for continuing to make adorable little charming games. They're wholesome, and they're lovely, and they're beautiful. And you're like a human being on this convention of big, loud explosions and announcements. We've